This is a video for something called the Geek Wold, not world, there's no R in it, it's a Geek Wold. I had a hell of a time doing Google searches because I kept putting in world because I thought it was a geek world and I got other stuff. It is modeled Gk3. It has 3 dynamic drivers. That's semi-unusual. You know, 2 dynamic drivers, 1 and 2 BAs, 3, 4, 5, 6 BAs, 2 dynamics plus BA. 3 dynamic drivers is, don't know if I've listened to triple without BAs, just 3 dynamics. So this will be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic off of this real quick. Okay, got the plastic wrap off, and I actually took the top off pretty much because that was a hell of a battle. Take it off. Product placement. Let me put it right there. Put it right there. It's got a warranty card. Okay, this is warranty description. This is the warranty card for the set, and this is the set and well, that looks pretty cool actually. That looks like the carbon fiber faceplates on the like the Hibiki kind of, and it looks like it's got 2 sets of tips, large and small. I'm assuming the medium might actually be on the set already. I got finger holes right here, so I'll go ahead and pull this up. I'm sure there's wire trailing behind here. And there it is. And roll it over. And there we go. It's got medium tips on the end. Go ahead and pop this out if I can easily. Wire quality seems decent. It's not that really over rubberized stuff that I don't like. Cables are actually really important, you know. If they're crap, this feels good. This feels like the stuff that came with the really expensive IEMs like 4 or 5 years ago. It feels like the exact same thing. Go ahead. Take a look at it. So there's 3 dynamic drivers in here. Size-wise, it's quite small actually. That's a nice design, to be honest with you. Some of that KZ stuff with the circuit board's not really my cup of tea. The ear hook's quite flexible actually. It's set, but it's not that stiff kind. So 3 dynamics. I'm going to go ahead and give this a listen. The look is nice. Never heard of these in my life. Does the cable come off? Don't fuck that up. Maybe no. Okay. Well, these are like 20 bucks, I think. So let me go ahead and give them a listen. Well, I'm listening to Steely Dan. Donald Fagen, I believe, is the singer. It's vocal. If something's got recessed mids, which is the first thing I listen for, he's going to sound kind of back. He sounds perfect, actually. The first track I listened to when I plugged this in was Dazed and Confused by Led Zeppelin, which is bass, and I kind of expected that because these have 3 dynamic drivers. The treble sounded okay, but it's difficult to get the vocals on this track because it's so bass dominant. So I swiped to the left like I'm doing now. Thought Dear Prudence, but that's really a bass. This is bass checks right here. But Hey 19 really is, it's Steely Dan. This is some good music for judging mids because the male vocal going on right now. This is still the intro of the song that you listen. I just restarted it. These actually sound pretty good. I understand why some people get into the chi-fi stuff because there are gems in the hobby, and there's a lot of garbage too. And when you get this stuff, you don't know which one you're going to get. For this price, I would say this would be a gem. Only problem with this would be it's not removable cable, but at this price range, I don't know if you're really going to want to be messing with cables that are 3-4 times more expensive than the IEMs themselves. This has 3 dynamic drivers. It is bass good, and the mids of a Steely Dan track, Hey 19 to be specific, Sounds really good. There is not a massive V. There may be a slight one, but it's not showing its face on this track. I would wreck these just because they're cheap enough, and I'll tell you what, just so you guys know, I really put a lot in cables. This is the exact same cable that used to come with the 1964 audio Universal series when they were first, maybe about 18 to 2 years ago, before they started getting into the God, what was the name of that system where they can take pressure out of your ear? Adele, I think. Before they were doing that, they had cables that were absolutely identical to this one. This is not too rubbery. This is not. This is really typical of what you would get. As a matter of fact, I can see myself wrapping this around the holder inside of the 1964 audio. It's the same cable. It's exactly. It's got the same characteristics. So the cable is fine. There's no controls in line. It's got a good split. There is no chin slider. Don't really care. Those tend to get in my way personally. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. This will be a surprise. This is a triple driver. If I'm not mistaken, these are around $30, $20, $30. They get the wreck. I'll recommend these. They sound good. I'm going to go ahead and listen to these some more. If I listened to these and didn't know what the price was, I'd be surprised when I heard how much they cost. These are good. I have the freedom now with the people that send me stuff to say whatever I want to say, which I've always had and I've always exercised, but that's cost me connections in the past. Having people that send stuff and say, we don't care if you like it or not, just, getting something out on the net that people can look at is their value. So when I listen to these, instead of considering, this video I'm about to do is going to cost me future connections with Odyssey or 964 audio or the stuff that's happened to me in the past and will happen in the future, there's not an issue with Chi-Fi gear or with this company anyway. So I didn't like some of the stuff. I like this. This is cool. This has got sound. This has got bass. This is what 3 Dynamics would sound like, tuned well. There's no whistling that might come with a BA. Or if you know what I'm talking about with that, the airy, non-dynamic sound doesn't have this because it's got dynamics only. Yet it's got one that's clearly doing the treble very nice. This is cool. I can dig this. And another thing coming not too long after this is going to be just an aptX cable. This will be from KZ. So I think this is MMCX, aptX. So I'm gonna have a lot of these coming in, stuff like this. So this is the Geek Wold. This is the Gk3 version. I'll go ahead and say that I like this. I like this better than a lot of the KZ stuff that seems to have a kind of a hot treble. You guys know what I'm talking about? Which really gives you this V feeling because you've got the treble up here and then you've got probably an elevated bass to compensate, and then this stuff seems to sometimes get lost. I'm not really getting that on this track. You can listen to this track. It's called Steely Dan, Hey 19. It opens up with a good bass line. It's got a male singer, and he does sound distant when stuff has mids that are scooped, and when you check a graph later on, or 2 or 3, and kind of get a pattern, you can see, yeah, that's what I thought I heard. Not hearing that on these with this song. That's always a good start. I got 2 boxes that I keep stuff in. One is I just put it in my hand and I put it in that box. Other ones I wrap up in their original box and I put them in a stack. These are going to go back in their box after I listen to them and be stacked. These are not going to be in the group box. So, what do people do with stuff? My simple childish way of separating stuff that I'm interested in, maybe doing future comparisons with or listening to, goes where I can get it easily. The stuff that I don't care about goes into it's a box of bunch of stuff. I don't care because I'm not going to really be reaching in and pulling and separating wires because that's not the They're not going to get hurt anymore. So this is going to go in the good area, back in its box. Geek Wold Gk3. I recommend it. It's good stuff.